Team USA just won their 5th consecutive gold medal in this year's Paris Summer Olympics, which begs the question, is this the best basketball team to ever be assembled? Or is it just a reminder that even old stars in the NBA can dominate on a global level relatively easily, cementing the gold medal chokehold that the US holds in men's basketball? Coming into this year's Olympics, we knew that the squad was elite, made up of exclusively all-star caliber players and a few regular season and finals MVPs. However, this year was different. No matter how good the team was, the fans were never going to expect 40-point blowouts like before. Due to the fact that now the world had caught on to basketball dominance, the best example of this is the NBA itself, as international players now make up more than 20% of the league. Many of them are just role players in the NBA, but when they play for their country, there is more incentive to be great, because they're not playing for money but for glory, and there's nothing more purely glorious than helping your country win a gold medal in the Olympics. Not to mention that many bona fide superstars like Nikola Jokic and Giannis pose a threat to Team USA beyond the NBA court. In hindsight, it's no surprise that Team USA took home the gold. But how does this year's team compare to the 2008 and 2012 Redeem Team? More importantly, how does it compare to the 1992 Dream Team? For starters, they consistently landed an incredible 45% of their three-point shots, which is something that no prior USA team had achieved, especially when comparing this year's Team USA to arguably the best team ever built. Anthony Edwards made headlines by surpassing some of Michael Jordan's early career stats, which is no small feat. And if that wasn't enough, we have Steph Curry and LeBron James playing together on the same team, something basketball fans have been dreaming about for years. Jrue Holiday stepped up big time and delivered some outstanding performances. And an interesting twist in the lineup, Derek White proved to be a better pick than Jaylen Brown, surprising many critics and fans alike. There's so much to unpack about why this year's Team USA is being hailed as one of the best. But how has the US handled itself with the rest of the world catching up to them, at least NBA talent-wise? And more importantly, how can I prove that this is the best Team USA ever, with actual data to support the claim? To achieve this, we have to run the numbers and look at the box score. With that being said, let's separate the starting and bench squads of every team to really see which team is the all-time best, not just who has the best starting five. The starters for this year's team had an average box score of plus 5.8, and the bench had an average box score of plus 4.2. The bench squad has enough talent to win America a gold medal, so how does it compare to a more recent comparison? How does it compare to the 2012 Team USA? The 2012 starting team featuring Chris Paul, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, and Tyson Chandler had a box score of plus 5.8, an all-star caliber team. The core players off the bench were Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook, and Deron Williams, which gave them a bench squad box score of 3.2. Now let's go back to the first Olympics featuring the original Redeem Team, and they starred Jason Kidd, Dwight Howard, Kobe Bryant, and two emerging young stars in LeBron and Melo. This stacked roster had a box score of plus 5.1. The core players off the bench were Chris Paul, D. Wade, Deron Williams, Chris Bosh, and Tayshaun Prince, who helped give the bench squad a box score of plus 3.9. This team was about on par with the 2012 London squad in their box score. What they lost from the starters, they got back in better bench depth. But overall, we still see a team that lags behind the talent and depth of 2024. More importantly, how does this year's team that was carefully crafted by LeBron compare to the 1992 Dream Team? Stay a while longer to find out. First, I have to cover this year's complete dominance, up until the semifinals at least. Team USA made a huge statement with a commanding win against Brazil at the 2024 Olympic Games. With this victory, they went through to the semifinals against Serbia. The US previously defeated Serbia during the first group phase match of the men's Olympic tournament, and earlier in July during the USA Basketball Showcase, winning both games by double digits. In the elimination games, the US had won all their games relatively easily, but since before the Olympics started, Serbia was seen as enemy number one and was the team to beat if the US wanted to win gold. And boy did they test them. Serbia dominated for most of the game up until the fourth quarter. Eventually, Team USA beat them again in the semifinals after a huge fourth-quarter comeback in which Steph Curry scored 32 points and LeBron put Team USA on his back. These games have given the fans a chance to see the big three in action together. LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant had never played on the same team until the 2024 NBA All-Star Game, where they all represented the Western Conference. James, who turns 58 in December, alongside Curry and Durant, both in their mid-30s, might only get this one chance to team up for Team USA. Out of all the big threes of Olympic teams, this had been arguably the most dominant. But how does it compare to the 1992 Dream Team, a team that completely changed basketball forever and made the NBA a household name both domestically and internationally? The team that would never win a game under a 20-point difference, and watching them play, even in highlight videos, looked like grown men among little boys, bullying entire countries and cementing the chokehold that the US would have on Olympic basketball for years. The starting five for the Dream Team was Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, and Patrick Ewing, which led them to having a box score of plus 7.2. The core players off the bench were David Robinson, Larry Bird, Clyde Drexler, and Scottie Pippen, who collectively gave the bench squad an insane box score of plus 6.0. The 1992 Dream Team bench had a higher box score than all the starting five of the 2008, 2012, and 2024 teams. So who's truly better? Well, just by dominance and numbers alone, the edge clearly goes to the 1992 Dream Team. However, it must be made clear not to invalidate their greatness, but to add context that in 1992, the world had not caught on to the dominance of NBA basketball, and the rest of the world would stay chasing that greatness until now. That's why, in terms of competition and competitive advantage, I give the edge to this year's team, who not only won the gold medal, but also has the best US Olympic basketball player ever in Kevin Durant, who has made a significant mark at the Olympic Games, surpassing Michael Jordan in several key statistics. Durant now leads the USA with a total of 494 points, overtaking Jordan's Olympic record of 356. He also boasts the highest scoring average at 19.8 points per game, outpacing Jordan's average of 17.1 points per game. With all this being said, I'll let you guys decide who the best USA team ever is. In one hand, you have the best statistical team that featured the best players in the 90s and had a cultural effect for years to come. You have the 2008 and 2012 Redeem Team that was the first time that the US actually took the Olympic team seriously, training together for years like other countries did, especially after the disappointing bronze medal in the 2004 Olympics. And then you have this year's Team USA, featuring an old but still dominant LeBron James, Steph Curry in his first and maybe ever Olympic appearance, Joel Embiid faking a US passport, and the greatest Olympic basketball player ever in Kevin Durant. The future for USA basketball is looking bright with Anthony Edwards leading the way. Let me know your thoughts on which Team USA is your favorite, and subscribe to my channel for weekly basketball content.